Oh no. Oh yeah.
Yes. Hey, wait, hold on. This is the wrong banners. We should probably pay attention. Let me
Yes.
quickly fix that before we
We confuse the
brand.
people.
Yes, this there we go. Bonk, bonk,
The
bonk.
yellow thing.
Nobody saw that. We didn't happen. So, hi everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Beans Dreaming, where we talk about AWS and sometimes wander off into random tech or even non-technical things. It is myself and Darko. Darko, why don't you introduce yourself quickly?
Hello everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a relatively okay Monday. It's been a long weekend. Let's say that. My name is Darko. I'm a developer advocate, as this gentleman is next to me. Been working for AWS for the last 5 years, and I like to talk tech. I like to nerd out, and hence my clone over here is we do the same things. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So basically, I'm Quibus. I am also a developer advocate. I am based out of Cape Town. And similar to Darko in the EMEA, well, actually, I'm no longer technically in the EMEA team, although I'm kind of like filling 2 seats at the moment. Yes. Remember, because I actually transitioned to the global online developer relations team in September, but I'm still, for the foreseeable future, until we find a Quibus 2 or a replacement for you, someone better, hopefully, for Sub-Saharan Africa. I'm still covering Sub-Saharan Africa, so I get to sit in both seats, which is a lot of fun, which effectively at the moment means not really any difference, because guess what, everything is online, so that's quite amusing.
Yeah, I mean, you had a role change in the moment where your role doesn't change, so that's pretty good, I guess. So cool. I'm based in Berlin, Germany, and I am covering Central Eastern Europe, but again, as a lot of things in 2020, it's weird, and we all do things like this in front of cameras. We get to yell at people and all that stuff. So hey Satya, hey Miku, hi. First of all, let us know if the audio is okay. We did have some, at least myself, I had, is it balanced? I did have some changes in my audio setup, so I want to make sure that it's good. According to Kubus, it's good, but just want to make sure that the audience is also... I just want to make sure that the audience is also happy with our audio setups. I wish there was an easier way to test this on Twitch, because like I can hear you perfectly fine, and I guess you can hear me okay. But besides just testing it for ourselves, hello everybody, and welcome to the stream. I hope you all had a good weekend. Do let us know in the chat where you are coming from. We always like to see where the audience is from. And Chris, how was your weekend? What did you do on the weekend?
I learned many things this weekend, all related to breaking things and then fixing them again very, very quickly.
Go.
So basically, I went to visit my parents twice this weekend. Because it's when you've got a little kid and a little kid loves playing with grandma and granddad. That's one of the easiest way to get slight hands-free time. But it was a trade-off. So basically what happened on Saturday, so I took our oldest one, which is 3, to my parents' house. And then when I was there, I decided I'm going to fix their network in the internet, because they've been having issues for a while now. Issues being like they used to be on a very, very dodgy ADSL connection with a copper line that was extremely old. So that didn't work well. Then about almost a month ago, they finally got fiber, which was obviously like, oh.
Yeah, wow.
Except they didn't seem to fix their stuff. So I'm like, okay, they still had Wi-Fi issues. They couldn't connect everywhere. Well, obviously, because in South Africa, we build with brick walls, not wood like some other areas, which means that signal penetration is sometimes a bit of an issue. So I took one of my extra Ubiquity access points, those little round UFOs. And I figured out a place in the house where if I... Sorry, I just thought I heard myself. No? Okay, cool. Where I found a nice spot in the house which basically streams through most areas, including being able to hit some windows, so they should get some nice access there. And that seemed to work, but they still had issues with the Wi-Fi every now and again. So I'm like obviously going like, something's already yes. Because what I did is I had a little, you need a controller to be able to manage any of the Ubiquity stuff. So, but you can run that on a Raspberry Pi, a VM, whatever you want. So I'd been using a little Raspberry Pi here at home to set that up, and then just took the AP, then just left it. So I thought, maybe if the controller's not present, it resets or does something weird or whatever. So went through the whole exercise, took one of my extra Raspberry Pis. First, I took the Raspberry Pi 2, which I forgot that it's a 2 and not a 3, and I forgot how much slower the 2 is than the 3. Yes, let's just say the first thing I learned, and there's a whole list here now, is that running the Unify controller in a container on the Raspberry Pi 2 pushes it to its max, because I also want to run SmokePing, and then effectively couldn't get it going. Then I installed it directly on the thing. That didn't work so well. So in any case, nuked that whole install, took a Raspberry 3 the following day to fix it. But what I did learn, firstly, on Saturday is that if you are going to be resetting a wireless access point, guess what connectivity type you need to be able to communicate with said controller to fix it?
Ethernet.
Yes.
Many of the times that happened to me. My God, yeah.
but be a sense. So I'm sitting there going like, sitting, and you go like that sunken heart feeling. We just go like,
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, fine. Luckily, there are some Ethernet cables. There's my mom's laptop's got an Ethernet port because I took my MacBook along, but I didn't take my docking port along. So guess what? USB-C to Ethernet doesn't fit. Don't know why. Right. So I got across that. So in any case, I reset that in any case, and then chat to them the next day saying, listen, how was the internet? So like, it's basically the same. We still have the same issues. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So do all of this again, but on the Raspberry Pi 3. Double check mini player. Maybe just someone else can confirm. I think it should be working. Anyway, so I take along the Raspberry Pi 3, which I tried to set up the previous evening at home, and I got about halfway through, and all of a sudden I just started seeing errors. And guess what? If you have a small SD card that's been in your drawer for 2-3 years with scratches on it, remember that the reason you scratched it was to indicate that it's faulty, that you shouldn't use it. So first lesson. So on the way there, grab a quick a new one, and wow, they've gotten cheap. Like got a 32 gig.
They're nothing now.
Ultra speed one for equivalent of. I have to convert, and my brain's not working. 3 times 3, about $9.
Yeah.
So they're cheap. So got one.
Yeah.
Slotted in, did all the install, did everything there. Then on the second thing, did you know that power over Ethernet injectors have got a little reset button that allows them to send a reset signal to the remote device that does the remote equivalent of the remote reset button? So you can,
that's very interesting. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Do you know what the second thing is that you should learn?
No.
Remember about the Ethernet connection.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I forgot my dog again. Haha, funny. But this time, what I did learn is that Unify and Ubiquiti is actually awesome with the controller software. Because what happens is, if you have got a Unify account, which is literally just you sign up, you set it up, and then from there, that's one login that you can use across all the different devices. It actually creates some kind of reverse tunnel. So on my mobile app, if I'm off the network, because guess what, Wi-Fi is dead, I was actually able to connect to the controller via the internet, because it obviously had internet connectivity. So I could literally go and click that magic adopt button, which is awesome, and then voila, everything worked. And then the final learning for the weekend. By default, they've got this interesting setting, and I understand why they have it, which is minimum bandwidth cutoff for Wi-Fi performance.
Okay.
Because remember, Wi-Fi is like the old hubs, which means whatever the slowest device on the Wi-Fi is, that determines the speed for all the other devices. So they've got a cutoff of 6 megabits a second, which means that anything performing slower than a 6-bit will be kicked off the network, which explains the performance issues. So now, hopefully everything is spent quite a bit of time setting all of that, but it's now nice, and it's not. Oh wait, I missed one learning. One learning is running a Unify controller in container in bridge networking mode needs some extra work, because it connects out to the AP, but telling the AP to connect back in, it doesn't send the correct IP. So I quickly Googled and I saw there's a workaround for it config wise. I just went screw this, host mode, cheers, because nothing is running on the Pi. At that point I was just too tired. This is now 6-7 hours in total spent on trying to fix this. So in theory,
but you learned something.
I did.
Yeah.
Which I'll forget again. I'll forget to do that. I can see myself doing that. But the big thing for me is the ability to do that remote reset is like worth gold, because at home, my access point is there in the roof somewhere, which out of fun, I did actually, when we just moved into the house, because we've got the big boards, the planks going sideways, and then you've got the other heavy ones on top of them, and you should step on those, not on the ceiling board, which is... Right. Yep. Yeah. So when we moved in at one point, there was a time when I was like this, dangling from 2 boards in the ceiling, and we had a massive quiver-shaped hole in our bathroom.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Be careful with that,
Yeah.
man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a networking adventure this weekend. So, for those of you who do not know, I am originally from Serbia, and I'm going on a semi-vacation slash work from home thing from Serbia now. So on Friday, I'm flying back home. Hopefully, if the COVID allows me, exactly, if the COVID allows me, and I'm going to basically to my mom's house, and I have my whole old childhood bedroom there, and I have some internet at home, and I actually have fiber at home. But the problem with the fiber connection is they have the worst. The provider, I'm not going to say its name, but they have the worst routers out there. Like the router they give you is just dog poop. Like it's just super bad. It freezes up like twice a week. It's like I think it's a no name. I'm not sure if it's a no name thing. It's I have instructions on it in Russian. So, it is something I've never heard of. I've never heard the name. Now I may be wrong that it's something that's popular or something, but it's not something that I would be buying for myself in essence. And with that being said, it's actually in the main building or the main house. I have a smaller like sub part of my yard where my boyhood house is, or my boyhood room is. So, and I have Wi-Fi between the two. And Wi-Fi is bad. And if I want to be able to properly stream like this with you, I need some fixed connections. So I'm actually gonna. I already spoke to a friend, and we're gonna get a box of cables, or the 300 meter box of Cat 6 cable. Yeah,
Can recommend. I just checked
yeah,
it for
yeah,
you.
yeah, and I'm gonna do myself some cable crimping. So I am gonna be on my roof and leading some cables through the yard or something. I need to figure out what to do it the best. Although somebody told me that same internet provider will do that for money. So I'm actually quite tempted to just go, hey, you know what? Money? Please wire my house. And yeah, I'll still think about it. But that's kind of my hopefully positive adventure. And you know how it is with networking. It is never positive. It's always networking and DNS. That is always the problem. That's always where you spend the most frustration with. Yeah.
So that I can actually segue nice into my second learning or second bit of fun this weekend. So I went like YOLO, just upgrade on my Ubuntu 18.04 server here at home.
Okay.
First fun part is I did it over my phone, as in with a little terminal emulator, until it got to the point where because I could and I was lying in the bath. It was between that and reading a book. So I decided, on Saturday night, last night. So last night, both kids were finally asleep. So I decided, screw this. I'm just going to chill. I don't want to work. I don't want to be on the internet really. But so I took that book that I'm supposed to be reading, which I still have not finished, which is amusing because the whole book's about how do you get more time to finish things. Which is, yeah. So in any case, I was sitting there like, yeah, let me upgrade the server quickly from the bar, blah, 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 blah. And at one point, it's like, SSH can't connect anymore. So I'm like, okay, fine. Go to the laptop. Luckily, I discovered a while back what that thing at the back with the Ethernet port that says ILO on an internet server means. On an HP server means.
Yeah.
So I've been ILOing in, which is also amusing because apparently, because I bought the server secondhand, so I've got no idea of what the firmware licensing, all of those things are on it because I run Linux on it. So my understanding is I don't need any licenses, except there seems to be a license for this remote connectivity.
Yes, you need a license for ILO. Yeah.
But no, you need it for post. So after it's posted, post needs a license. Pre-post seems to be free according to whatever that error dialog is, which means that I can connect to it, and every now and again it'll just die again. Good news is I can now actually access my terminal via that. So it was just a case of it was setting up a couple of things, and one of the reasons it was unhappy was because guess what? DNS. It couldn't figure out DNS. Now that resulted in me figuring out that because I'm running Pi-hole in a container on this machine, that for some reason systemd's default network resolve stuff kicks in, and then for some reason it doesn't use localhost for the DNS. I do not know why. Basically, what it boiled down to is disable the one systemd networking service so it doesn't override files that it always points to the container, and that seemed to fix it magically. A reboot later with hey, I can't install on Grub, which was like, but it seemed to work. So it's booting, it's working. I think it's not broken. We'll see later.
Well, I have my own the Knucklehead. Last time we spoke about my Intel Knuck, we named it Knucklehead. I have Debian running on it, but to be honest, like with Debian, you just update it every 7 years and it's fine. I have it running for like 100 days straight, and it has 3 containers running out right now, so it is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't plan to make any changes to it. What I did last week is I've actually set up SSM on it. Not so I can manage it, but just so I can have a remote connection to my home. So when I go to Serbia, and if for some reason I need something from my NAS box here, I can just use SSM to connect to it via Session Manager and just pull stuff out. So that's kind of my thing. I don't need VPN. I don't need a publicly exposed IP address. Nothing. I can just use SSM on a hot box here. So it is I think it's one of the most consumer friendly services we have on AWS that anybody can use. So that's pretty cool.
Sorry, I'm actually popping up a screen here quickly.
Go. Put it up.
Sorry, I'll show this. So this is the next thing that I'm busy playing with now. So for the first time, I have got SmokeBing running, and I have not configured it. So by default, SmokeBing is a latency graph. Let's just quickly see. So here we can see. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So this is the default. I literally just said container spin up and go. And you can see over here, it gives you some latency between different things. And over here, you can see there was, I'm assuming, something going on with the blue. I've got no idea what it does yet, because this is me trying to figure out, still part of the parent setup, like what's broken, what's not. But the interesting thing here is you can see there's a bit of jitter on Google, but it seems Linux server.io, but granted, that's in the 100-something milliseconds. It doesn't do anything. And you can get, let's say, what's under Europe, nothing there. Connectivity. So basically, it gives you an idea, I think, of what the latency is. And if you're, so it's got files that I still need to go do. This should be interesting. DNS, Google DNS, OpenDSL, Cloudflare is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow.
1 millisecond.
But you know why? Because look, Google DNS above 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
look
is one.
Cloudflare
Cloudflare DNS is just. Yeah.
Fun question that I also learned recently. Do you know the difference between 1111 and with .2.3 at the end?
No.
They've got 3 that you can use. So by default, 1111 is the just local DNS as you would expect a normal DNS server.
Okay.
.2, they actually filter out DNS requests for known malware sites.
Interesting.
.3 includes malware plus any adult content that they know of. If you want to not be able to roll all those, so you can just put .3. Yeah. So
that is very cool. I didn't know about that. That's pretty interesting. Well, the more you learn. I love the fact that this is free. I mean, I'm not sure what Cloudflare, how Cloudflare makes money out of this. What's their business model? But I love it. By the way, Cobus, this seems very interesting. Would you mind setting this up on my system? Or actually, can we set this up together on my thing? I guess this is a container, right? It's just a Docker image.
So Docker, yes. That is the other thing that I've been doing that I'm very proud of. I am no longer doing Docker YOLO, which is known as run Docker run by hand in the command. I have now switched because a friend of mine is doing it, Docker Compose. So yes, I would be happy to help you with this. So Docker, what you need.
I've showed you my terminal right now. So
yes,
this is. I think it's. Is it large enough? I think it is. It should be okay.
Yep,
right?
we can read this. Yep.
Cool. So this is my knucklehead. So Docker PS. There's just it's basically my Raspberry Pi, my home, my Pi-hole, and my Home Assistant running on this one. So awesome. I have also, if I go to my Docker directory, I have my transmission or my VPN, my legal torrenting service with VPN available. So I'm going to create a new directory here called, what is it called? SmokeBing?
Yeah. Smoke. Ping. Yep.
And then let's call Docker Compose YAML like this.
Yep, like that.
Okay.
Cool. And now what you do is head over to Google and search for Docker SmokeBing, and you will get the Linux server. I must say, I've been hitting, the more and more I start looking for Docker containers, the more and more, like for different utilities like Unify and Pi-hole and all those, Linux server.io seems to be popping up the whole time, which is awesome. So there's a sample compose file. Just grab it. Yep.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you're on Windows. Good luck with that.
No, it's Linux. It's Linux, but it's it's cool. WSL.
Cool. So firstly, change the version up to 3.8. You should be on Docker 19 point something, so you should be fine with that.
Am I? It's Debian, by the way. So
no, just Just checked Docker version quick. Version, yep, see, 1903.12, yeah. So you can go to 3.8. That's fine. It doesn't really make a difference to this. I just like to make sure that I'm on the latest version.
3.8.
Cool, 3.8. You've got all of those things. Make sure your time zone is correct.
Berlin.
Okay.
Okay, now the config.
Cool. Yep.
Okay, I can set it up like so. I can do just home, Darko, Docker, and whatever this is. Where is it? Docker smoke ping. Docker smoke ping.
Slash config. No, slash config. Trust me, you want config and data. Been there before. Don't do what Quibus did and overwrite your data file with config directories.
Config.
Config. Oh, I know config.
Config. Data and then data.
Yes, about that bottom one, and also just remember to go create the directories.
Okay, I'm just gonna change the ports because port 80 is already my pie hole on this one. So I guess I need to do something else. I would do 89. Why not?
Yeah. If it's not taken already, that's also a nice common one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So cd docker smoke bank okay there
data
config data like so, and
that should be it. Compose up.
Okay.
-D.
Oh, you have to do -D. I just did compose up.
Oh, I don't Docker compose. I don't know if you've got an alias for compose. Docker compose.
Docker compose. I didn't do -D, but okay, let me do -D. Now.
-D is to do it in a detached state. Otherwise, it'll be attached. Cool.
Oh, will it? Okay. So,
yeah.
Version is unsupported.
Really?
Docker.
You did warn me about this. Are you on 1.21? What version am I? Hold on, let me just quickly SSH in here. SSH. That's not going to work.
I can do 3.3. I mean, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Rudix World. By the way, I've the thing you asked me here just to kind of explain. Exposed my local host over intranet. So this box you're seeing right now is my Intel NUC sitting next to me, and I have what is it called? I have system AWS SSM agent running on this one. So if I would be sudo systemctl status. There is a service somewhere called Amazon SSM Agent Service. So this thing is actually listening on this, running, and now I can access this box from anywhere in the world via the internet, via the SSM agent. So yeah. Coolio,
3, yeah,
I guess.
3.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. That should be it, yeah. Boing. Okay. Yeah, so I see I'm running 1.26.2 on my Ubuntu machine. Granted, I just upgraded like everything last night, so I'm assuming what's my Docker version?
Yeah, and here I think even if I do, I don't think Docker Compose there's a later version because it's there is okay. So apt sudo apt Docker CE. No, I mean.
That's the thing, but I know I installed Docker Compose with pip, so might be that, but who knows? Yeah. But okay. But let's get it going. I want to see.
So Docker Compose up D, bam. Okay.
Also, very interesting to note here. Even though you probably copied that from Docker Hub, because of that new limitations they're doing, I'm seeing a lot more people switching to GitHub Docker repository. So which is that GHDR. I think .io.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you look, if you scroll up a little bit, just look quickly.
On this?
Well, you can see it in the middle, just in the middle above the arrow. Yeah. So there was
GHCR.
Yeah. So that's actually worth mentioning. We released a blog post yesterday of an upcoming feature /service, which is a Docker registry that AWS is going to be making a public registry on built on ECR. Which is awesome. So it means I can actually talk about, that's one of the live streams that I'll be doing in reInvent is actually, it was supposed to be a shh, don't tell people we're releasing this. But the blog post went out. I didn't know about it, so now it is public knowledge. So I'm hopefully not in trouble. But yeah, we are releasing a public Docker registry, and the reason this is like important is that it means that you can now. We're working with a lot of, I think, the big providers to have containers on it. So
yeah, exactly.
It'll be you can host your own containers publicly for people to consume, which is super important if you want to make sure that people can trust where the container is coming from.
And that's very cool. I think that's a very neat feature, especially if it's going to be very nice integrated with like ECR with all the other things. So, pretty cool. So cannot start service, smoke ping, driver port binding. Okay, port is already allocated.
Wait. You had it the wrong way around. It removes host versus container. Yeah. I also had this weekend. I learned so many things that I will forget. One more space, one more. Oh,
it looks good. Yeah.
YAML.
Yeah, YAML. I know. Yeah. Okay, Docker compose up to -d. Bam.
Yep.
Okay.
At this point, you would have. Cool. Done. Go ahead. Let's look at the interface.
Wait, let me open up a browser. This should be okay. Stop sharing my screen. The other sharing of the screen, and this, and this, and this.
Stop seeing Darko buy stuff.
9, yeah. 89, I guess, right? Did I set it up to listen on the proper ports? Oh, well, it listens on anything, right?
Yeah, it should be there. You sure this is the IP of your?
Yep, it's where my it's where all my stuff sits at. So 89, 89, 80. So Docker PS. It is running. It is listening on port 80. Interesting. Internal server error. Okay, it reached smoke ping. So it did reach smoke ping.
Yes.
But it just failed. Okay. Otherwise, it would say it couldn't find anything here. So this is something to do with actual smoke ping.
Okay, just refresh it and see what happens. Might still be booting.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because for me it was literally just take that boom start. Nothing more than that.
See if there's something.
Your time zone Berlin does exist as a time zone like that, right? Because for us, for example, I need to use Johannesburg. I can't use Cape Town because it's not a time zone. Time zone city rather. Huh, this is interesting.
So let's see if something to do with GID.
Oh wait, yes, go back to your terminal, please. Are you not user 1000?
Most likely.
I just installed it on my. I don't have to change it because my Pi user is the first user, so it's user.
I am 1000. I am. It is all Darko 1000. So. Interesting.
And obviously, your user is allowed to run Docker. Yeah, you're part of the group. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, the Docker starts, right? So Docker PS, I can see it running, right? So the smoke ping is running, and it's up for 2 minutes. So
maybe. Oh, you know what? Do Docker logs on that container quickly. Just see what happens.
Docker log. So I need container ID.
Yeah. Docker logs. Yeah, paste that in. Aha! It's always DNS.
It's always DNS.
How is your DNS? How is your DNS setup?
So this entire host is running the Pi hole. So this could be the thing, right?
Yes. Is your Pi hole? How are you exposing your Pi hole? Odd questions to ask out of context. Yes.
Kovas, I think I know we know each other as long, but man.
Wow. Okay.
So
I'm gonna tweet this.
cat@host resolve.conf. So it's currently the name server for this thing is just a local host. It's just a local IP. So 192.168.1.1.100, right? So that's how I exposed my file. But why did it fail then? So hey Warku, I found the bean streaming episode super helpful. Could you please update the Git repo so I can step through the code? Thank you. Oh, you mean our application? Yes. So we are still looking to update that. But yes, absolutely. One of the things I want to do is actually update it with the latest version of CDK with all the bells and whistles. So stay tuned for that. That's on the top of my. I'm currently in the process of redoing some of my Git repos. So yes, absolutely. So Remedies, hi. Looks like your bind zones are faulty. I don't know. So I am not.
Let's stat it or SS. See, I learned SS. Remember sockets. I still can't remember what it is. It's not socket service. It's socket.
That's that.
Statistics. Yeah, that one. Yeah, but you can do literally the same with SS. That's the new thing you're supposed to, because I thought not.
So it's listening on. So 53 is here, right? We have 53 listening on this one, and I'll have IPv6. I have it not. Do I have it not on IPv4? Interesting.
No. Oh, okay. No, never mind. That's a Docker bug, actually. It will, even if you have IPv6 disabled on your system, it'll list those ports as IPv6. Just it's a bug. It's okay. It's not an issue.
I mean, because my system can resolve. I mean, I can drill whatever, right? Drill.
But get your etc resolve file quickly. Etc resolve conf.
So I'm pointing it to to my local host.
Yeah, that should be fine.
That should be fine.
So then you're doing bridge networking. You didn't set up your bridge your networking weird with your full sentences. Need more coffee.
With Pi-hole. I don't think so, because here's the thing: like Home Assistant can also detect, can work, right? Home Assistant speaks to the internet, so that should be fine. I'm just wondering, is there something on the logs?
Oh wait, hold on.
What? I need your Docker expertise.
No, networking. I'm trying to think now, because what's tickling my brain at the moment, I need to just think it through, is that you are setting the IP of your machine. And if I'm routing from inside a bridge network in Docker, can I route to that IP? I'm trying to think now if I can route to that IP. Because if you change the resolve.conf to be...
if I change it to be like, you mean like me...
Just pondering now. So the thing is, I want to say, because if you change it to loopback, it will also not work. Yeah, that I'm 99% certain that also won't work.
If I go crazy and do just like this, but
that should fix it.
Yeah,
that's like hacking it and bypassing your pile now. Is drill newer or older than dig?
I have no idea. I know that both dig and drill work. I think drill is newer. I use drill on one of my other boxes, so I couldn't install dig here for some reason, or I didn't have dig, so I just had drill. I don't know.
Okay.
So let me actually. How do you Docker compose restart? Is there like a
Docker compose
restart?
You can just restart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fairly certain, although I have to remember this won't be recreating the networking. So
okay.
Let's see. Okay, run it again. Oh, we're gonna have to wait a few seconds. Could not rely by blah 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 blah. That
Set the server name directive globally to suppress this message. Okay.
Need to figure that one out.
DNS probably 900 with 900 seconds, so it's currently doing all that.
All probes are successfully. Okay, let's hit the browser, see if it works.
Can I do F?
I'm curious now.
Can you follow?
Yeah.
Where's this thing? Hey, that's it. Okay. So
we fixed it.
Screen. We brute forced it. It's always DNS. So we brute forced it.
But now you don't have Pi-hole running on. So they're not running through Pi-hole, which is an issue.
Okay, I mean, I can try to fix that. Try to see how that works. Like maybe at 127 would work. I don't know. I mean, even if this little box doesn't go through Pi-hole, it's not a problem, right? I'm not browsing through that box. My Pi-hole is basically here just to stop my desktop and mobile phones and all this stuff. So okay. So well,
so obviously it'll take a while. It does ping every 5 minutes, so it'll just build it up. But basically, my understanding of smoke ping is that it gives you an idea of, is there something funky going on with your internet connection that affects latency? And you can, these files you can edit just inside. If you go into the config directory, you'll see there's a bunch of config files in there. Because one of the things I was going to set up, and I don't think I need to after I found that one setting that I think is affecting the Wi-Fi, is making sure that this little Raspberry Pi can actually ping the access point as well. Because in theory, you should always be able to, but I wanted to make sure. And that's something I was setting up locally.
I'm a fan of this because I think a lot of times I also like, is my internet working okay? Is my problem? Is my do I have some issues? Is it like the site or whatever? And this would kind of show me some potential historic diagrams for me to see this.
Oh yeah.
And I think my knucklehead still has a lot of resources for this to work. So that should be perfectly fine. Excellent.
I mean, the one thing where this would have been useful is when my parents were still running on that ADSL line. I actually pulled the ISP's logs, and the one day they had 253 reconnects on ADSL. Wow. And when I went to the ISP and said, listen, clearly something is not right here. They're like, but it's not our side, it's your problem. Sorry, cheers. I'm like, thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
But this is cool. I like these things. This is a relatively useful thing, but it's very nerdy. So I'm a fan of this.
Oh yeah.
I like me some graphs. So very cool. Very cool. Hope you all enjoy this little thing, little deviation into whatever this is.
But now, Darko, I've got something that you will like. So you remember, I think I tweeted about last week, my little friend over here.
The old laptop. Ooh, show me. Wait, let me remove this.
But what has changed, Darko, is... Oh, wait, it's a little clip. You can't just open it. Is if you look closely, at the bottom, you can't really see it.
It's running. I see the blue lights.
Yes, you see the blue lights, which means... Wait. Oh, now you can see, you can see behind the scenes now. See my fuzzy mic. Where's the button? Ta-da!
Okay, wait. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It's glowing.
Yes, there we go. Glowing. Wait for it.
Oh god, that's it. That's the Toshiba. First of all, thank you for getting rid of the glossy screen world. Oh my god, Windows XP.
Well, now you can see my light in front of me as well. There.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
But I mean, so
that's very good.
It's like wait. Well, we're gonna wait a while. This is normal spinning graph hard drive.
Here it is. Here it comes. I hope you enable sound.
Actually, I don't know if it's got sound.
No sound. No.
Oh, you didn't hear it. It's filtered out by my noise cancelling. There is sound.
Yes. No, we don't hear
it.
Yes,
dude. A fully set up for work laptop running Windows XP, but it's not on the network yet because I am too scared to connect it to the network because I know there were so many Windows issues. So I don't know if it
pull out the data from it first. I've actually dug through some of my. I actually backed up an old drive from my first laptop. I backed it up to a NAS here a long time ago, and I went digging through it last week, and I found one of the things I'm looking for screenshots. Like I am fascinated by how old desktop systems look, how my desktop looked in 2008. So I found a few screenshots, which I'm still thinking should I share or not. But it's
Yeah, but I mean, so the thing that fascinates me about this is like past Quibus was very work play.
Aha.
There
Okay.
is nothing on here that is entertainment or play. Or the closest I got is I've got VLC on there. That's
Okay.
it. There's literally
Okay.
like not a single. I don't even have like what I would normally use like Winamp anything on this, which is like jeepers. There's old Quibus not listening to
You
music
were a
while they
boring
work or
person.
something.
You were really a boring person.
Yeah, no. I mean, it literally it's got Eclipse, it's got SQL Server, it's got Visual Studio. That's about it, and a whole bunch of work files.
Okay, can we talk about old computers now? Because I see some remedies is coming here. But can we talk about, because same as you, I had an old computer adventure last week. So we missed last Friday stream, so I didn't get to talk about it. But last week I did a repair job on this thing. So for those of you who do not know, this is the best laptop in the world. This is an IBM ThinkPad X60. So it is all the things. So it's a Core 2 Duo retro. It has 1 gigabyte, 1 gigabyte of RAM actually. It has infrared. It has what else? It doesn't have a touchpad. There's no touchpad on this one. There's just a nipple. It is. It does have a SSD in it right now. But one thing that I did last week is like the problem these ThinkPads have is they have this. This is an Intel. Sorry, I cannot. It's a fixed focus. They have an Intel Wi-Fi card, and the Intel Wi-Fi card gets hot. And the thing is, it's sitting on your palm it's literally on your palm, and it gets really warm. So I decided, you know what? And this is also a 802.11G, just G. I'm like, you know what? Let me try to get something better. So I found one of those Atheros cards, and the Atheros cards cost me like a couple bucks. The thing is, IBM only supports IBM or the officially whitelisted cards in their BIOS. If you put something else, it will just not boot up. It's like, please change your wireless card. It's improper or whatever. Okay, Libre boot time. So replacing the firmware on this thing, and that's always a fun thing because you can break your system easily. So Libre boot went okay. It was fine. There was no issues there. The problem where it came in, like, okay, let me replace the card. But while I'm replacing it, you know, I should also replace my fan because the fan was a bit loud. It was just jittery. You can hear, you know, the jittiness of the fan. And I'm like, okay, let me go to Amazon and let me buy myself a fan, which I have somewhere. Doesn't matter. Like a small fan.
Yay, Darko. Oh, sorry, you mean that kind of fan. Sorry,
that kind of fan. Yeah, not that fan. You can't buy those fans anymore. So I bought that fan, and the fan turned out to be not good. It wasn't the correct one. It was just bad. Okay. So how do you fix something that should be moving but is not moving?
You would like to move it.
WD-40. So I took the fan, pull it out of here, remove the thing, sprayed WD-40 in it. I let it a bit dry a bit, and WD-40 luckily is not electric conductive. And yes, Bosmac, absolutely. It just works perfectly now. No jitter, no rattling, nothing.
I think he might be asking what WD-40 is. That's a synthetic lubricant, but it does have a little bit of not corrosive, but anti-rust. So it actually breaks down rust a little bit, as opposed to just using, for example, pure silicone spray.
Do you know what WD-40 stands for?
Well done, 40.
Water displacement 40. So it's a water displacement thing, and 40 is because it's their 40th attempt at this formula. Yeah. So WD-40 is the thing. If you want something to move, WD-40 it is, right? So there you go. So I got that fixed. I replaced the thermal paste on it because the thermal paste that it had on it was just literally dry. It just when I opened it up, it just because it's like a 11-year-old laptop, 12-year-old, whatever. So all that working, and now it's running perfectly. Well, sort of. There was a thing, something happened to it. I'm not sure what. I think I have. So hear me out. I would have Debian running on it, a 32-bit Debian running on it, and I would boot into it, and it would start booting up, you get all the debug. Well, actually, there was no debug. I enabled debug to see what's happening, and it would boot up, and it would just say some crypto unable to dev you random or something like that. Okay, and it would just stand there, dead. Okay, you Google the message and like, oh, that's fine. You can just ignore that message. I cannot ignore that message because it doesn't boot. Turns out, in my glorious disassembly of the thing, and even more glorious attempt, and like, you know what, I'm just gonna assemble it again, and I believe it's gonna work, because that's the ultimate thing you don't do. So I assembled it, and somehow I unhinged the real-time clock, the battery for the real-time clock, and that completely disabled the random generator thing on it, and it wouldn't boot. I'm like, oh fuck. So okay, and at first I almost gave up. I'm like, you know what? I'm just getting myself a new hard drive, and I'm just gonna install new Debian on it, and I'll go with it. The thing is, with LibreBoot, it's weird because you don't need grub installed on this one. Grub already exists on LibreBoot. So if you install it on this one, it's very difficult to boot it. I haven't figured it out yet. So I ended up like trying to figure out, and it was literally the battery connector, because the battery here is not the one that you push in. It's a battery with a cable. And I ended up basically just kind of jittering the cable, and it works right now. So it boots into Debian. It's the perfect focus machine. So I have Linux running on it. I have all the things I have to. The only thing I don't have on it, and that's a pity, I don't have AWS CLI on it, because AWS CLI version 2 is only 64-bit. So there's no 32-bit version of it, and I cannot set it up. So there are some things that don't work, but if you want to do Vim, if you want to command line stuff, or if you want to SSH into something, it has the best keyboard ever. End of story.
Nope.
And
disagree.
Disagree?
The old Windows ones, those white Microsoft Natural ones.
Okay. Well, laptop keyboards. Let's stick to laptop keyboards. But yeah, it is the thing. Yeah.
We've got some comments that we have to address. Firstly, be it a requirement? No, it's not, but it does give you plus 10 knowledge.
Exactly, yeah.
At least.
Gives you 10 wisdom, plus 10 wisdom. And I think Cobus... Oh, you're back. I think Cobus froze. Did Cobus froze or did I freeze? Cobus froze. Okay.
This is weird.
Okay, you're back.
I seem to be back. Are you back?
Yes, I am back.
Did I disappear?
You disappeared, I think.
Okay. I had an internet blip.
For me, you disappeared. So I'm not sure if that is the case, but for me, it was you who was gone. So
yeah, I was going to say we've got some. So firstly, the beer does help because it gives you believability plus 10.
Correct.
I didn't say accuracy; I said believability.
Yeah, yes. And yeah, I would agree. Yes. It's a helpful thing. Wow, my Cloudflare is 20 milliseconds, so compared to yours.
Ooh,
interesting.
Yeah, but which one? Because if
it's the 111. At least currently that I'm seeing.
Yeah, let me have a look here. Yeah, I've got some. The different ones, the DNS probes versus the actual DNS is different.
These are the DNS. This is the DNS thing, and it's 25.
Pop on screen quickly.
20 milliseconds. So share. See, it's pretty chunky.
See on DNS. That is actually very.
So, is it because it's going through the Cloudflare? I don't know. Like because
Cloudflare normally has got pops everywhere.
Yeah.
And in my case, I live literally like I think 2.3 kilometers from one of the biggest like DC exchange like connection points. What do you call them? Interconnect, I think.
Yeah. But
and with the data centers on, then
you have the cable to the sea coming close to you, right? So I don't. I mean, I'm probably on one of the big backbones. I'm in Berlin, but still, that makes a difference.
Speaking of that,
speed of light.
Did you see my stuff that I realized on Thursday when you went here for the stream on
No.
the latency between Nigeria and other places?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
That was fascinating. But it makes sense because of the way, obviously, it's literally where the cables go. And the cables go from Lagos around to Spain. They land there. So that's why that's the fastest, Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
And then next it goes up to actual Europe. And then from Europe, it hops over to the UK. And from UK, it hops over to Ireland, which means, yes, Ireland is further than other places internal to Europe, which is it's cables, right?
Boss Mac, hey Darko, is that an NES on top? It's an SNES. It is. It's an SNES. It currently has Yoshi's Island plugged into it, and I use this monitor underneath it to play some games. So it is working. By the way, this monitor, I'm not sure if I talked to you about it. I need to fix it.
Yes, you said where it goes.
Yeah,
well,
mostly it goes away. So sometimes it just breaks. Well, currently nothing's plugged into it, but let's try to boot up a Raspberry Pi on it.
I must say, while he's doing that, I mean, is it going? What? Oh,
so this is just the line you're seeing is just the refresh rate, whatever it is. So if I would change the refresh rate on my camera, it would be better. But yeah, it's booting right now. It will boot up, I think, until it warms up too much. Then it goes away. So I need to fix that.
But I must say, it was like fascinating this weekend because I spoke to my dad. He's in the medical industry, but so he's got a bit of computer savvy. He reads like our local tech magazines and things, like general tech, not like computer tech necessarily.
Right.
And he had never actually heard about the Raspberry Pi, and he was super fascinated when he went like, this little thing.
Yeah.
It's got like a couple of gigs of RAM, quad core. It runs full Linux. It's actually a server. He's like, what?
Wow.
It's like, it was. But yeah, I really want.
I would say that like people are like Raspberry Pis are one of the best things that has happened to the computing industry in a long time. It's just so good. It's just like it is something that is just amazing, right? From my perspective, I just love it because it I don't know, it enables everybody to have a small Linux server at home. I mean, they're not as cheap as they would initially like, it's $30. Yeah, it's a bit more than $30, especially if you get the card and the power. Like the power supplies are the problem now. I think for me, having Raspberry Pis, especially Raspberry Pi 4s, you need like at least 2 amp power supply.
2.5.
If you want to 2.5,
two is underpowered. I had that this weekend.
There you go. And it's not even.
It's like
it's even the cable. So I have a that's a Raspberry Pi 3, and I used a crappy USB micro USB cable, just underpowered. It doesn't transmit enough amps through the cable for it to work properly. So it is but it is just great. So I think one of the things I would love to see more is Raspberry Pi Zeros. So I think that's also a great thing. I think a next version of that would be even better. So
But what I was going to say is the whole cable discussion is super fascinating because not all cables are equal, and what also goes on in the cables is fascinating. Because I mean, like I know we spoke at a previous stream about for example, if you get a MacBook and it's got 4 USB-C ports, not all 4 ports are the same.
Yes, exactly.
Which I was like, I just happened to actually plug my power supply into the right one because of the way my orientation is with my cables and things, but they are different, and also what runs on them is different. And also with USB-C, apparently with USB-C, USB 3, USB 4, they're now going to try and fix the whole, because it's effectively PCI lanes. But apparently what the issue is like who decides what lane gets what and how to handle traffic saturation, because guess what? Video and things easily saturate that kind of the channels. So then it becomes like, it's stuff you don't think about where it's like, hey, cable.
Yeah, and I think the MacBooks, 2 of them are directly Thunderbolt PCI Express, and some of them are just not. So I'm not sure what the difference is, and I don't know which ones are, or is that the case for all MacBooks? But you should be careful with. Yeah. Also, cable. Yeah, especially USB-C is causing so much confusion. USB-C is a type of a cable, right? But there's different generations of the USB-C.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it can be a problem here. So
at least we don't have to worry about which way to plug it in.
At least, But still, it is sometimes does this cable support power delivery, PD or whatever it is, right? So it is there's a lot of things. Here we go, Cobus and Darko. Running on an old CRT. It's gonna probably turn off in a couple of minutes, but yeah. And Bozman, is that why you can't chain link dongles on the MacBook? I think that's the case. Well, so here's the thing: this dongle and this thing here. Well, you can't see it, but the power delivery port is just power delivery. So that port only exclusively accepts power. So if you try to do this, it doesn't work because it just transmits power. So it doesn't transmit the PCI lanes at all. So that's why you can't do it. Unless you get a dongle that can, but usually you can't.
So you've got the power.
You got the power.
Good.
But I don't know. Like I'm a fan that you can use USB-C now as a great docking solution, because USB-C docks, when implemented good, can be amazing, right? So because they just single cable directly to the PCI Express lane and just works. But again,
not with my setup. My setup is
I have one of these. That's the docking station.
Okay.
That's the docking station of everything. You can even have a disk in it. So there we go.
Yes, that's what I forgot. These ones. So I've still got one of those PC. What's it? PCMCIA.
Those,
Yeah, cards. Yeah, PCMCI. Yeah.
I never actually used them because they were too expensive. I couldn't afford them.
So no, look at this. This is the retro tech. So you take this, you pull this, pops up, and then hopefully you pull out your DVD drive.
Oh yeah. Wait. I have something like that as well. Not on this one. On a subsequent laptop, I could do that. Yeah.
Oh, this is.
Yeah, but this one also.
Interesting.
So this one's got a. Oh wow, Darko, you would love this. I believe this is the IS400. Is that Thunderbolt port? Or is that the Omega?
IS400.
Yeah, the port. Let's see.
It's the FireWire. 30. Yeah. That's the FireWire. So that's FireWire.
Okay.
So that
Wow,
is the.
this thing wasn't one.
Yeah, that is the port here. I have the same thing. So it's the 1394. So that's FireWire.
Okay.
It's the FireWire. It's the small FireWire. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, way back.
Yeah.
So,
hello, IB.
MKBHD? I actually don't know what that is.
You don't know MKBHD? It's the YouTuber who does tech stuff. MKBHD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Marcus Brownlee. So
okay.
He does retro. He does cool retro tech, but he does the cool mainstream retro tech. Like he gets the Motorola Dynatec, and he gets the Macintosh, the old single box Macintosh thing. Yeah. So we're not as cool as him, and we have less cool technology. Well, at least less mainstream cool technology. We like to show things like an old Toshiba laptop, or an old IBM, or a zip drive, or a Raspberry Pi running on an Amiga monitor, or something like that. It is running pretty good, and I'm happy to have set up my little Raspberry Pi to support VNC. So every time I need to configure something on it, I just have a VNC connection and just do it like that.
Nice.
Otherwise it was a pain. Oh, last week. So this big boy underneath. So it's a Pentium 3 processor, Pentium 3 1 gigahertz, something like that. It runs Windows 98. I had to buy something for it, and I didn't think I would ever have to buy this. So I bought a keyboard. This is one of the better
PS2
mainstream. Yeah,
I recognize the HP app.
This is one of the better mainstream keyboards you can buy. Like, they're very nice to type on. They're soft and all that. They're not mechanical by any means, but out of those business line keyboards that you had in offices, this is one of the better ones. And I have one at home in Serbia, but I had to buy. This is a brand new one, like a completely brand new in box. I had to buy that one, and I had to buy a PS2 mouse as well. So I have a PS2 mouse. Yeah, I don't have anything like that here, so I had to go out and purchase all of those stuff, and so I can set that up. Also, one more thing I bought, and this should be a first for me, is one of these. So unfortunately, you cannot see it, but this is a IDE to SATA. So I can connect the SATA disk to an IDE cable because well, that thing doesn't have SATA. I'm gonna be basically trying to run an SSD off of that thing. So
oh wow,
we will see how that works. But yeah, that's gonna happen probably when I come back.
Windows XP on an SSD. Imagine that.
You can. I mean, I'm sure that your laptop supports SATA. I think that was the time of SATA. Judging from the laptop, you can absolutely install Windows XP on it. It's still gonna run. And here's I think the speed that we try to compare things from are a bit cloudy in our minds, because 10 years ago, what you considered fast was something you would probably destroy your monitor today, right? So, because as you can see, my monitor died. But one of the things that we think is that if Windows XP in itself is slow, like the way you run Windows XP, even though it's light on resources, but if you would run it on the same laptop, even on an SSD, it would be slow. So I think we are having a problem when it comes to trying to grasp the speed of things right now, because things are much, much faster and we expect things to happen instantly. When we were younger, 10 years ago, waiting for something for a couple of minutes was just fine, right? That's just how you did things.
Sorry, I have to giggle now. When you said that, and it's because I'm overtired. When you said grasping things for speed, I immediately thought like...
Yeah. So Bosmac, yes, it would trash the SSD. So if you run an SSD on XP, it would kill it after a while, because there's no trimming, no trim support. So after a while, the SSD would be just dead. But of course, I mean, don't run Windows XP in anything other than just let me have it. A joking type of approach. Don't run XP because you can. So I may install XP on that thing because it has enough juice in it to run an XP system. So I may run XP on it.
Can you safely do it nowadays when it's connected to the internet?
No. I mean, XP... I don't plan to connect that to the internet at all. So I plan.
That's my thing. I want to patch it, but I'm too scared because I know as soon as like Windows XP machines touch the internet, they just start getting worms and things. Last time I checked.
I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's that bad. Especially if you have like a like Pi set up for malware and DNS.
Yeah.
It would take a lot more effort for you to go on it, like unless you have a system that's actively infected on the network. And I remember XP had this thing when I was in high school. XP had this bug where basically it would spread a virus from Autorun. So if you have a flash drive with Autorun, basically it would copy things on the boot sector of a flash drive, but also it would spread that same thing across a network. So if you have an XP machine in your network, it would just use the admin share on it and just copy it. It's just a complete mess. But through the internet, it's a bit more difficult. It's not, of course, if you start browsing dodgy sites with the Internet Explorer 6, yeah, you're done.
But XP during high school,
Okay. Yeah, well, that was my first proper PC. Was AMD Athlon 2000 XP, and run Windows XP in 2003. So
wow, no. I mean, if you didn't edit the WinINI file for Windows,
I did. No, I had a Windows 95. I had a Windows 95 PC. I got it in 2001. It was my primary computer until 2003. So I did do my Windows 95 time. So I had to do all those things and HiMemsys and command.com and all the stuffs. But Windows XP was the first time I kind of got into the mainstream, because I was using basically something very old before that. So XP was my OS of choice until 2010, I guess. I think it was the longest running OS I've actively used. And I liked it. I mean, even to this day, I have just nostalgia about Windows XP. I know it's crap. I mean, compared to what we have right now and the useful things we have right now and all those things, but it's just nostalgia, and that's the thing. I mean, I would not be using Windows XP in any production system right now just because of the a simple thing, start menu. On Windows XP, you couldn't search in the start menu, right? So now unless you install things, right? By default, right? So if I hit the start menu button right now, I would search start menu.
So I just remember there was this animated video that I saw about exploiting Windows. I think it was XP's login screen or Windows. No, I think it was XP's login screen, where effectively what the person did is they clicked through the help. And from the help, they somehow got to the printer settings, and from the printer settings, they exited, and then that poof, you're logged in. I'm like, what the hell just happened here?
There was a lot of, especially in the early days of Windows XP. I remember I was a kid, and at school we had Windows X machines, which we were all running in like student accounts, right? Student 1, Student 2, Student 3. The thing is, they all have admin accounts enabled, but the admin account didn't have like a little login button. So, but the admin account also didn't have a password. So what you have to do, you would have to go to the old like the console, the one with the username and password. Just type admin and hit enter, and you're in. So it was like that. It was very full of holes. I mean, there was ways to exploit those things quite a bunch. It wasn't a secure OS for its time ish, yeah. But if you look at today's standards, like. Especially with the things we have right now, and a good thing from VR Venom, kids these days wouldn't have fun with XP. I mean, XP was never a multimedia focused. Do you remember a time where we had to install codecs to watch movies? Right, you had to install specific codecs, FFmpeg, and then there's a bunch of different codec packs so you can actually watch a movie in a media player or something. I remember when I found out about GOM player, GOM player. GOM player could play anything without codecs being installed, so that was amazing. And then VLC came. VLC can play basically anything.
Yeah. VLC was like the bomb.
But today, Windows 10 ran. Windows 10, if you use the default media player and you play an MKV video, it will refuse to play it unless you buy a codec, which is $7 or something like that. It takes you to the store, like purchase this codec. Yeah, I'm not sure it's an MKV video or some other format, but something H.264 whatever. It takes you to like, hey, this is $6 or $7, whatever. Purchase this codec and you can watch this video. And you just open up VLC and just watch the videos.
So I completely missed that because I never used the Windows Media Player.
I didn't as well. No,
VLC. Yeah.
No, I didn't as well, and I had the chance last week because I was like trying to play a film on the living room PC, and I didn't have VLC installed. I'm like, what? No, stop it! Yeah, no.
So here's another fun. This just triggered a fun bug that I dealt with in 2015, 16 somewhere. So a lot of PowerShell work back then, and actually built some apps that does like wget type commands, and on new machines it broke.
Oh.
It would work perfect. So the script worked perfectly on a Windows machine that had been up for a while, but for a new one, it just completely broke.
Yeah.
And in the end, you remember when you open up Internet Explorer, it's got that first time menu of settings and preferences and profiles and all of those things. That box that pops up that you have to click things in, personalize it or something until you can actually do your first browse because it prevented you. This was older Internet Explorer.
Okay.
So that did some kind of setting, and under the hood, PowerShell's wget made use of Internet Explorer somehow, and you could not do that unless you did an override to set those settings because the browser couldn't initialize.
So when it comes to PowerShell, PowerShell has an alias called wget, but it's not wget. PowerShell's it's actually invoke web request. That's the official commandlet name, and it uses the Internet Explorer engine for that, which is weird, but yeah. It was weird, and that was like I think when I was in high school, we had a class on C#, right? That was our programming class, and we were tasked to build an internet browser, and it's super simple. You go C#, you open up, make one of those windows, and just there's a browser window, web view or whatever. It basically is Internet Explorer, and just you give it whatever you want. But yeah, that's how it works. A lot of the Windows components are actually we're using, I'm not sure today, but we're using Internet Explorer as part of their web interface or whatever. So yeah. I can imagine, but that's weird. Like you command line utility requiring something like that. I'm always and this is where Java You remember Java when you would install JDK? At one point, you have to like confirm the license, and even if you want to install it using the command line, you had to like run a specific flag to confirm it or something like that. It was super weird. Yeah.
Yes. And then on the morning of, I can't remember the date anymore, when they moved all of the old non-current Java installs behind a login wall. So it wasn't a paywall, luckily, but it was a login wall.
Login wall.
And at that point, I remember it very clearly because we had just gotten budget and had bought TVs to put all across the office with our Datadog dashboards.
Okay.
And one of them was the Chef servers running with, all the stats and things. And and I even set up some Raspberry Pis to auto tab between the tabs, which is fun as well. And then basically, exactly, Mr. Venom, you need an account to download it. Now, on that day when that kicked in, it was literally because what we did, we brought service up and down the whole time, and part of the boot process was grab the Java, install it on the machine, and then go on. We should have cached it, yes. I know that now, but we didn't at that point. And then it was just like you see this line, and then from there, red. Just like everything red. We're like, what happened there? And then it's like, it was in the middle of the morning, as in sleeping time morning. So nobody was doing anything, no commits, no nothing. We're like, okay, obviously something changed. Let's go look at the error logs. And it's like,
So external dependencies are always a quote unquote fun thing to do. It is by and this is what always concerns me. Like that's why, first of all, using the tag latest on anything is a horrible thing. Don't do that. But also, like, external dependencies can be tricky for critical systems. So what would your approach be for like a very critical system? Let's say you have a system that just cannot fail to deploy. Would you store the dependencies somewhere? You would like cache them or have them?
I would cache the entire chain of things. So firstly, I would build my own machine image. So I know that I have a copy of that machine image if anything upstream changes or is deleted. Because even, let's say, use one of the Amazon provided AMIs. Now, we in general don't delete those. We leave them. But in theory, something could happen to delete that. So that could be a risk for you. So always make sure, firstly, you've got your VM image, a copy of that. Then every single thing you need to build your software, you need to actually have a dependency copy of it. So a cache of NPM or PyPy or whatever package manager NuGet you're using. So you can actually set up transparent caches for that. So actually when requested, it caches on your copy or on your package server, have all of that ready as well. And then obviously also your own AI, preferably need to be able to build it from packages that you have stored locally as well somehow. Okay. Like that whole chain you need to do. That's a starting point, at least. It feels like there are many more things I'm forgetting.
I mean, you could again. I think that's a fair point, right? Trying to minimize the external dependencies as much as possible, right, for those kind of things. And it's because if you have like a multiple different dependent, and this is where it's a weird thing, where relying on a single thing is more reliable than relying on multiple things, right? So, saying, hey, I'm just running things on like, for example, you cache all of your things in, like, for example, what is it called? What is the name of the service we have for caching?
Code Artifact.
Code Artifact, yeah. You cache all the things in Code Artifact. And you can arguably say, oh, well, then I'm depending on AWS. Yes, but you're not depending on 5 systems. You're depending on one system. And to be honest, if one of those 5 systems goes down, everything is down, right? So you are not getting a single dependency and it's down. So it's not like you can have a single dependency go down and, well, maybe sometimes you have a good degraded system, but you will most likely be suffering as much as if a single dependency goes down. Then just having all of them go down. So that's an interesting thing. So
Michael Seymour, you've actually got a fun question there. Let's pop it on the screen because he's on the YouTube side of things.
Sure. Okay.
Stream one day on using AWS for cloud gaming. Saw a YouTube video where someone used the Windows Server Ec2 instance, but I'd like to see how you guys do it. Yes, I actually have built and worked on a game. Well, I didn't build it, but I just worked on it. That's on Steam. So I've actually done, but this is many years ago. So I've actually had to deal with this from the automation side and the deployment side and the running side and integrating with some services. But that's definitely something we could probably play around a little bit with GameLift and Lumberyard. I've actually been meaning to. I've even downloaded Unity 3D again to start playing with it at some point when I have free time. What's that? Because I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But I think maybe Michael is here asking about how to run games on an Ec2 instance.
Yeah, but that's where GameLift comes in.
No. Play games on an Ec2 instance.
Oh.
And that's possible. I have a friend who does that,
You can,
you can. So if you use Steam, the problem here comes in. You have to have a proper driver set up, especially because you need an instance that has a GPU, and that can be a bit pricey because those GPUs are not your 2080 supers or whatever. They're Teslas. They're
they are
compute GPUs, and they're not the best things for games, but you can play games, right? You need to have proper driver setup, and you also need to have Steam. And then one of the things you can do, you can use Steam Remote, that you can actually remote play Steam games. So he's talking about playing games. We can try to do it. Absolutely, we can try to see how that works. I would be happy to kind of investigate that solution. Again, there are numerous problems that can arise here from having latency issues depending on where you are. Right, if you're living close to a data center, that shouldn't be a problem. But like if you're living pretty far away, because nothing is being cached. Nothing is being cached locally. It's basically just going through an Ec2 instance through. There's a few things that we can have a look, but it can be a fun, interesting experience, I guess. One of the things I would love to try is the Amazon gaming service. Have you heard about that? What is it called? Luna. Amazon released the gaming the gaming service. Basically, it's the same thing like Google Stadia, but coming from Amazon. It's currently available in beta in the United States. So not available in Europe, so we cannot even try it. So, but yeah, I remember. Now let me take myself back. I was still living in Serbia. That was 2010. Yeah, 2010. There was one service that offered. Was it 2010, 2011? There was one service that offered like an online gaming service that you will stream games through the internet to your home. Basically what we have right now. But that was like 10 years ago or a bit less. And I remember it worked okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't, especially with the internet speeds. I mean, I had maybe 1 megabit at home of ADSL. So it wasn't anything amazing, but it worked-ish. You can play some games. You can see the artifacting. You can see all those things. So yeah, and mind you, like these companies like Amazon and even Google and Xbox and those folks who build these streaming services actually they're focusing on it a lot. They're making it quite good. They're optimizing it. And if you run like something yourself, like people want, hey, let me do an Ec2 instance and run games on it and then stream it. You're still using the Steam streaming thing, which is not the most best thing. I have a desktop here, right? I have a big old chunky boy, and I have a living room PC, and I wanted to and the living room PC is connected via Wi-Fi, so it has a connected via Wi-Fi to this, and it has like a external Wi-Fi antenna. It's like I PCI card Wi-Fi. It's like I've invested in it, and it's pretty good, and it gets like 200 megabits a second, 300 megabits a second, and all that stuff. And I've okay. Let me try to play some video games. I basically wanted to stream The Witcher, from this thing to that thing, and boy, there was a lot of artifacts. It was just ridiculous. It was unplayable. So no. Yeah, the big old antenna. You again froze.
Yeah,
okay, you're back.
This is like a 9 dBi antenna, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a big one. On. You cannot see it here. Try it. So that antenna.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how much dBi that is, but I don't use it. I bought it a long time ago for some project, and I have it sitting up there. So it's just a showpiece right now. So.
I was actually thinking of a fun Friday stream that we can do, but that'll involve us. We'll have to stream a bit later in the day so we can sit and have a beer while I do it. I need to take my cable boxes, yes, plural. I've got 3 small ones, and then I've got a big 150-liter crate full of cables.
Wow.
I've never, I think, thrown away a single cable. So, and there will be some interesting gems in there as well.
Well, man, Jesus, no.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of boxes, and I converted all those boxes into one big box. So it's not even a box; it's one of those drawers that it goes underneath the cupboard. So it's like this wide. I'm not sure how big it is, but it's full to the brink of cables. Yeah. So
just hear from what I've just gathered here in the last week from sorting out things here. So this is just me cleaning up over here, and this was next to my desk on the floor here that I thought go through and sort out and fix and test it. Yeah.
Actually, comment here from Greenco. Why he's running a 20-foot cable instead of Wi-Fi? Like I wanted to do that, but the problem here, especially I'm renting this place. It's not mine, and to drill through these walls. This is an old German, as they call it, the Altbau.
Nein.
And that
Nein.
no, it's not just about that. The walls are like this thick, right? So these are like brick walls. Huh?
I can introduce you to drill bits that can solve that problem.
I know there are drill bits that can solve that problem, but I'm not skilled enough to drill such a drill bit in a bit. So it's something that it's something that I'm not really trying to do. So I've opted I'll just use Wi-Fi. It's not something important. I was thinking about it. I even have like one of those Steam Link boxes that just stream games. But this is fine. It's okay. And that computer has a 1070 on it, so it can play the games I want to play it on the big screen. So,
so
Remedies.
Greenco.
Just to answer one more. Remedies. I do have an Amiga. I have an Amiga 500. Well, that's the box there, and the Amiga is somewhere there.
A funny thing, yeah. So quickly, Greenco. Yes, I'm on the team. Put cables everywhere. I've gone through 300 meters of Ethernet cable just for my own personal use so far. I've got a 300 meter or 500 meter box behind me. But now when you say floorboards, something very interesting. So my younger brother lives in Amsterdam, and he bought a flat that side. And the weirdest thing there was that when you move out, you take your kitchen and your floorboards along with you.
Truly.
It's the same.
Well, not the floorboard, but the kitchen, yes. Kitchen is I bought the kitchen. So when I moved in this place, I bought the kitchen. And this kitchen is mine. I take it with me. So it is.
And let's just clarify. When I mean the kitchen, we talk about the sink, the cupboards and things around it. That is a unit.
You pull it out, all the things. Like I am basically the kitchen that's built into the walls. All of that is mine. So all of that I take. The only thing is I don't take is the flooring. And the bathroom, I don't take the bathtub and that, but everything else is mine. So and it's also
weird.
It's flooring is super weird. Like that's
because it's cut into shapes. I mean,
What are you going to do with it, right? Yeah. So in Germany, in most of the places, you need to buy a kitchen. In most of the places, you have an apartment without anything. And that was my case when I moved to Germany. And it's different. I've in the last 7 years, I changed 5 countries. So I moved around Europe a bit. And I know how it is in different. Like in Czech Republic, at least when I lived there, you moved into a furnished apartment. That's it. You just pay money. You have it all furnished. That's it. In Malta, it was the same. Malta was you just get a furnished apartment. In most cases, you just move in. Ireland, it was a mixed bag. In Ireland, there was also options to get an unfurnished apartment. But even that unfurnished one had a kitchen. In Germany, almost all apartments are unfurnished, and if you want to get a furnished one, it's much more expensive. So, and when they say unfurnished, it's like no kitchen, nothing. So, I had a really great fortune to when I moved into this apartment. The guy who was living here, he's like, "Do you want to buy all the things in the apartment?" I'm like, "How much?" He's like, "Oh, $4,000." I'm like, "Yeah, boom, done." I moved into a furnished apartment. We're done. So I had a fortune to, number one, be able to finance that. Number two, that this guy who lived here was also giving out everything. So super happy about it. So yeah, and even if I would if I were to move, that would be an effort for me.
That's actually weird because I mean, I've got friends who live in Seattle, and when they bought the house, because they rented initially, but then ended up buying. It's like when you buy it with the washing machine, the dryer, and other appliances like the fridge and things. Even if they're freestanding, you buy it with that. It's just like, huh? It's like I'm also like, for us, kitchens are usually built in this side and they're different custom shapes. Yeah. We don't have a standard like you have over there. So
the same thing here. My kitchen is built into the walls, and it's like I don't see it. Even if I move away, I don't see it using that kitchen or taking it away because I have nothing to do with it. It's like it's built for this place. So, but yeah, in the United States, at least from the folks I spoke to, buying stuff is more common there than renting. At least I have friends who just go to the just rent a place in the United States. Not rent, but they just buy it outright. They move somewhere and buy a house. Which is not a very common thing, at least not in Europe. So because
I think it's to do with the fact that the rates are so low that side as well. The what do you call it?
Rent?
Interest rates. There we go.
Interest rates, yeah. Interest rates here, to be honest, I don't know how much is it, but it's relatively easy to buy a house in Germany, in Berlin at least. So it's just you go to an agency. There's some upfront cost, but basically then it's just you can if you find a place, you can have it done in like a month. You just move in. So it's not and it will cost you less than a rent. So. That's why I'm still thinking about maybe getting a house. I want to get a house. This is still an apartment, so we'll see. It gives me more room for my junk. So, and I just had a colleague, as we were chatting, a colleague contact me about, hey Darko, I heard you like Lenovo ThinkPads. I have one. Do you want it? So I got another Lenovo ThinkPad. Yes, please. So feel free to donate your Lenovo ThinkPads to me. I'll build a wall out of Lenovo ThinkPads. So yeah.
Now we have to figure out what we're going to call that wall.
The Think Wall. The Think Wall.
Okay.
Think Wall.
We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. But yeah. Oh man. So I guess we're slowly getting down to the end of this stream. We have like a couple
hold on. Are we supposed to talk about AWS Tech?
Oh yes, AWS, Code Build, CloudFormation, EC2, Docker, ECS, 2 new regions, and are we done? No, by the way, speaking of 2 regions, let's mention that. So if you missed it last week, we have.
I'm going to play with this now. That's fun.
Yes, you were like the nerdy Harry Potter with the 9 dB Wi-Fi antenna. Yeah, there you go. So. Last week we announced 2 new regions coming up on AWS, so that's pretty exciting. I think they're all going to be open up in 2021 or 2022. They're not open; they're just announced. One of them is in Switzerland, so for all the Swiss customers, that's just great, especially because Switzerland has this very strong banking laws, and so the customers who need to keep the data within Switzerland are going to be able to do so. And second of all is we're opening up a second region in India in Hyderabad. So, folks from India in the chat, please do let me know if I say Hyderabad or Hyderabad correctly. I don't want to Americanize it because Hyderabad sounds very American, like an American would pronounce that place name. So, in my head, it's Hyderabad, but yes, do let me know. So, Hyderabad and Switzerland. So, 2 new regions. Hyderabad. Okay, Hyderabad. Okay. Thank you very much. So Hyderabad and Switzerland. So that is very, very interesting. Very looking forward to more regions. It's always good. I wish there was more in Africa. I think one in Nigeria would make sense. What do you think?
That would be awesome. But I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. It's like
no, me neither.
Someone had mentioned something about the Switzerland one, so I knew that one was coming at least. But I actually have no idea in terms of where because we are currently building regions, make no mistake, but I don't even know where. I don't know the ones that we are, because Jakarta hasn't gone live yet. Spain's not live yet.
No.
Wait, let me quickly take it off, because when I started, because we have to memorize these for talks, there were 5. It was Cape Town, it was Stockholm, it was Milan, Jakarta, and wait, was it Jakarta or Osaka?
Jakarta. It's Jakarta.
Oh, sorry. Osaka. The reason why it's on my brain is that it's turning into a region.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a single availability zone. Now it's turning into region. Yeah,
correct. And it's Madrid. It's Spain, Madrid. Yeah. So it's gonna be Madrid.
Madrid.
Okay. Yeah, Madrid. Well, I think so. I don't know. It's Spain, but I think it's Madrid. I'm not 100% sure. So basically, currently in the works, it's Jakarta, Madrid, Zurich or Switzerland, and Hyderabad. So very interesting. I'm always looking forward. And like people come and ask me, "Oh, Darko, when is AWS opening a region in country X?" I'm like, buddy, I wish I knew, right? So we usually get known. We get let known quite late, so we don't like once it's quite official, because opening up a region is a very one-way door. It is a very one-way thing. It's like once you commit to open up a region, you have to open up a region. It's like it's very difficult to roll back. So so it is very important that we do it right and we choose the right place.
Yeah, because we can only build so quickly.
Exactly, and it's also like, here's the thing, like limitations. It's not just about, especially at the scale, like sometimes the country doesn't have enough resources. Like power is a problem in some countries, that they do not have power enough, clean power for us to use. So, and because Amazon is pledging to use as much clean power as possible, that's a problem. So, but yeah,
I think we're going to be carbon net neutral, or by
2030.
I think so. Yeah, with a stretch goal of 2025. I think.
Yeah. So carbon neutrality all the way. Thank you. Cool. With that bombshell, it's 12:30 my time. It's 1:30 Cobus's time. I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you everybody for joining the stream. Hope you all have a really nice Monday, and hope the week also goes pretty good. Join us again on Friday. We're going to be doing... Well, no Friday. No Friday. Darko is flying away. So no Friday.
Are you leaving on a jet plane?
I'm leaving on a jet plane. So I don't think Air Serbia has good enough Wi-Fi, so I can stream from the airplane. Or even if I do, I think I would annoy the people. Explaining zip drives and you know... Exactly. Maybe sit in the pilot's cockpit and just stream from there. So no stream this Friday, but next stream coming up is the next Monday, and that's going to be live from the Republic of Serbia. I'm going to attempt to stream from home, so that should be fun. A couple of things that can go wrong. Number one, internet. Number two, dogs. Yeah. So we'll see.
Dogs are fine. Mine's asleep.
Yeah. No Monkey Island Friday. Cobus all alone. Cobus can do a stream. Cobus can do a stream by himself, but that I don't want. I think he would feel lonely. So please wait for me. But yeah, cool. Cobus, thank you very much for letting me helping me set up the smoke ping thing.
Yeah, it's a fun little toy. Yeah.
And
we actually do that more often. Like we should have a segment in our show for fiddling with home network and stuff.
There we go. We have a bunch of things. Oh, by the way, I was this close to buying the micro server, but
but then you would have to put down 4 Ethernet cables because it's got 4 links.
It's not that. It's I'm leaving this week, and I was buying it. Like, oh, it's not going to arrive until next week. Whew, okay, that solves the problem. I'm just not going to buy it. So,
Darko, come now. Where's your dedication to Sparkle Motion?
When I come back. So, everybody, have a nice day and enjoy the rest of the week.
You must.
Bye-bye. You must enjoy the week. Bye-bye.